Opened in 1971, Magic Kingdom's 18-month celebration of its 50th anniversary is now over. But wait, there's still reason to celebrate because, well, it's Disney World after all. Hey folks, welcome to the Down the Road Travel Channel. My name is Will Van Winkle. We seem to have made the trip to Disney World between Christmas and New Year's an annual thing. It started in 2022 when we found some gift cards that weren't used from the closures in 2020. On a whim, we struggled, but we were able to piece together reservations at the campgrounds and park reservations, some dining stuff, and all that. This year, we planned a little bit further out, but we still ran into some trouble. We started planning this trip in March, and we ran into some issues with the campgrounds again. We had to piece stuff together, and some of the dining reservations were a little difficult. Now, obviously, we weren't making the dining reservations in March because you can only make those about 90 days out, I believe. But we still ran into a few issues. You know, keep in mind the park is at capacity at this time. This is one of the peak seasons, so you know those surge prices are in effect here. Hotels are going to be more expensive. The campground is going to be more expensive. Disney Genie Plus is going to be more expensive. Things like that. But there's plenty of hotels. There's the Good Neighbor hotels. There's a different level of hotels. But there's only one campground, and there's no Good Neighbor campground, and that's why Fort Wilderness fills up so quick. So we had a couple different reservations. We pieced them together. We were able to finally, a couple weeks before we left, get one reservation for the whole thing. Now we're planning on going back again, same time in 2024. As I said, this is going to be, it's starting to look like it's going to be an annual trip for us. And we started planning that one at the end of May, beginning of June. That's when they open up reservations for Christmas time for the following year. So 18 months in advance, you're going to start making your reservations. And you need to do that if you're planning on going at this time because your preferred resort may book up quick like Fort Wilderness does for us. As I said, there's only one campground and it does book up very, very quickly. You can find a night here, a night there, and you can piece things together. But particularly with the campground, you have to set up your RV, do your thing, move it, set it up again so you can do your thing. And so it's a hassle. It may not be quite as bad moving from hotel to hotel, but it's still a little bit of a hassle, especially once you start adding souvenirs and things like that into the equation. So why would we make this particular week an annual trip? Well, it is the happiest place on earth. And in the winter, it's not as hot. It's no longer hurricane season. You're not going to get those monsoon rains that you get in June or July. And the overall mood is just so much better because I think it's not quite as hot, so the kids aren't getting as upset as easily. Some of the people that are more heat sensitive, people from cooler climates aren't, as miserable. And so it just feels so much better than the summer trips. Sure, it's still peak season and surge prices are still in effect and there's huge crowds and, all that stuff. But you've got great decorations. It's a great chance to escape the warmer to a warmer climate and have a little fun. Plus, have you seen the gingerbread houses? They're amazing. Even if you don't do the parks, which I don't know why you would go to Disney and not do the parks, but you can head over to the Grand Floridian. You can head over to Animal Kingdom Lodge and the Contemporary. And there's gingerbread houses. They're huge, life-size. I can't say exactly life-size. I think the door on the one of the Grand Floridian would probably be about the size of Mickey Mouse, based on the statue in Magic Kingdom with him holding Walt Disney's hand. So they're huge. And they sell those gingerbread shingles. So it can be a nice, tasty snack, too. If I understood right, they start preparing for the gingerbread houses way back in the summer. So I mean, it is a huge undertaking, and they do a lot of work, and they go all out and make these parks just beautiful. Now this year, I want to say it seemed like there were fewer decorations in the parks than in 22. So 23, it seemed fewer decorations in some parks, but other parks it seemed like there were more. So I don't know if they alternate it and they change it up every year. I'll keep an eye on that next year and let you know when we do our when I do my video then. Um, Now a couple of changes have occurred since since our 2022 trip. Tron is now fully open. It's doing a virtual queue. We didn't have reservations to Magic Kingdom. We had reservations to Hollywood Studios, Epcot, and Animal Kingdom, and then we bought park hopper tickets and we went to Magic Kingdom in the evening every day. So we didn't get the reservations, so we couldn't get into the virtual queue for Tron. We could have bought the single Lightning Lane ticket, but everything that we've heard about Tron doesn't make it sound like it's really worth paying extra for. So personally, if I can't get the virtual queue, I'm not going to go on the ride. It seems like it's very short. And so it's just so quick. It's not really worth it. And I haven't heard anything about the queue itself, the decorations inside the line. You know, Disney is really good about making you feel like you're already in an immersive state once you get in the parks. But once you're in the line for that ride, you are immersed into theming for that ride. Good case in point would be Seven Dwarfs Mine Trains, where they have the gyms all over the place. Or say Pirates of the Caribbean, where there's skeletons playing chess locked in a stalemate. Which, by the way, that is a stalemate, and that's why they died, because they couldn't make any more moves, and they just sat there pondering what to do next until they finally died. I think that's the story behind that little scene there. So since I was on the subject of reservations, I do want to also point out that one of the changes that's coming is that as of January of 2024, reservations for the theme parks are no longer required on single day tickets. Annual pass holders, you still need to make reservations though. And that's just because they don't know when you guys are going to come otherwise. And, you know, all these people are buying tickets and they might get at park capacity and have to turn away people, annual pass holders and ticket holders alike, and they don't really want to do that. So they still want annual pass holders to make reservations so that they can kind of keep track about how many people are in the parks at any given time, so that they don't exceed capacity. Especially with all the problems that are going on between Disney and Ron DeSantis, which, you know, come on, dude, leave the mouse alone. Splash Mountain is closed for much needed retheming to Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Rumor has it there will also be a restaurant somewhere near there, and I'm assuming there's going to be beignets because that was a big part of the movie. Hopefully, they'll be better than those Mickey beignets over at Port Orleans. They're a little dry. You know, I've had beignets in Louisiana, and they don't measure up. I've never found any beignets anywhere other than Louisiana that are really worth anything. And then it also still depends on where you're going in Louisiana. So I'm sure eventually I'll do a trip to Louisiana and I'll do a video on that. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you can keep up to date on what's going on, where I'm at, and, you know, help you plan your trips. So Tiana's is scheduled to open in 2024. So hopefully we'll be able to take a look at that, the retheming, and go on the ride when we visit at the end of December in 2024. And I am doing ride-through videos. Now Disney has made it. Disney has requested no longer to film on rides, and the reason being there's light and it distracts other guests from enjoying the ride and things like that. I do have a video camera that has absolutely no light on it. I have no idea what I'm getting until I've looked at the video. So hopefully I can get some video of that, and it'll be worth posting. I do have a few ride-through videos. They're a little shaky. As I said, I have no way of monitoring what I'm recording with that, but I'm not violating any Disney rules by doing those ride-through videos because I'm not using any light that will distract other guests. So don't think that I'm walking around breaking the rules, and I highly discourage anybody else from doing that as well. In fact, while we were on Pirates of the Caribbean, somebody was trying to film with their cell phone, and a lot of people behind me were complaining because he's holding it way up here like this, and all I could see was his phone. He's right in front of me. I tapped him on the shoulder, and I asked him to put it down. He kind of gave me a dirty look, but at least he did it. So it's great that people are trying to be respectful of other people's vacations, because everybody's paying a lot of money to go to Disney, let's face it, and you don't want to be looking at somebody else's cell phone the entire trip. So I'm going to try to get a ride-through video of Tiana's Bayou Adventure next year when it opens, and hopefully I can get a good shot of that. The train is open again. We didn't ride it this year. It was open last year when we went. Kind of a reduced schedule, it seemed like, because at sunset they would stop running it. Here it ran a little bit longer than sunset, but we still weren't able to get on it because we had our dog with us, Chewy, the Psycho, and had to go check on him, make sure he wasn't tearing the RV up. The dining plan is back. It's supposed to help with budgeting and planning. Now, we had the dining plan one time. It wasn't for us. It actually ended up being more expensive for us than just going and making those reservations and going to our own quick services and choosing what we wanted to do. So make sure you check out the details in depth before you purchase it and make sure it is something that's going to help you. Quick overview of the plan. You have a quick service dining plan that gives you 2 quick service meals per night of your stay, 2 snacks and non-alcoholic drinks per night of your stay, and 1 resort refillable drink mug. Keep in mind the mugs cannot be refilled at the parks, only at the resorts. So if you're at a resort and you are just miles from any of the restaurants at the resorts or refilling stations, drink refilling stations, it may be more of a hassle to get that refillable mug than it's worth. Again, individual results may vary, so make sure you check into that before you do any of this purchase. Now, this is all per purchase plan for guests over the age of 3. Guests 3 to 9 must order from the children menu where available, and plan must be purchased for the entire length of your stay and for the entire party. So you can't purchase it for grandma but not mom and dad, or purchase it for one kid and not the other kid. It's everybody. If they're on your reservation list, it has to be everybody. You have the full Disney dining plan. It gives you 1 quick service meal per day of stay, 1 table service meal, 1 snack or non-alcoholic drink, and 1 resort refillable mug per guest in your party. Now, please note, the specific number of meals and snacks are determined by the number of nights included in your package stay. Meals and snacks can be redeemed at any time during your stay. Unused meals and snacks will roll over day to day and expire at midnight the day of checkout. Meals and snacks are non-transferable between party members, and resort refillable mugs, as I said, are only eligible for refills from those self-service beverage islands at any Disney Resort Hotel quick service location. Again, not available in the parks. All right, so we talked about some of the changes. Now let's have some fun, which is hard not to do if you like Disney or theme parks in general. Once you see Cinderella's castle, if you're like me, you know you're in for a magical experience. Now, I might be a bit odd in that I just like the theme park atmosphere. Walking around, you see people, they're there to have a good time. People are not there to be miserable. You go shopping in the mall, there's going to be somebody there that's just not happy. They're not having a good time. Their wife drugged them out. They're there shopping for school stuff for their kids. You go to Disney World, the plan is, I'm going to have fun, and people really do try to have fun. So regardless of the crowds, Disney is so well done that once you're in there, you can forget that you're in a theme park if you wish to. So much attention to detail was paid that there's absolutely no restrooms in Frontierland. And that's because back in the Frontier days, there were no public restrooms. So that fact is actually illustrated by the 2-tone walkway throughout Frontierland. You'll notice that it's red on one side, red on the other side, and kind of brownish in the middle. And that is to indicate that that's where the river of raw sewage would be running down the streets in the Old West. Don't worry though, restrooms are very close by and no one is adding to the river of poop. Now, as I said, we had park hopper tickets, so we didn't rope drop Magic Kingdom one time, but we came over every day. Probably around about 2, 3 p.m. You can park hop. At the time we were there, you could park hop starting at 2 p.m. So that's usually about the time that we would leave one park around 1, maybe 2, go walk Chewy, throw his ball a little bit, get him worn out again, and then head back over to Magic Kingdom. It's right when crowds are at their peaks, though. But with Genie Plus, we had no problem getting on rides. One strategic move that we did make was getting in lines for the most popular rides when the fireworks start. In general, I'm speaking of like Snow White, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. In the summer, the fireworks are shortly before close. In the winter, they're kind of around somewhere between 6 and 8 p.m. I didn't really time it, so I'm not 100% sure what time. I know it was dark and it hadn't been very, very dark for very long when they started it. In Magic Kingdom, fireworks generally indicate that the park will be closing soon, and so crowds typically thin out. You also have people that are in line for the rides that will leave the line for the rides to go view the fireworks. And you just stay in line, and suddenly the line is moving so much quicker. Now, another thing that benefited us during this time of the year is Magic Kingdom's open until midnight during the Christmas area, between Christmas and New Year's at least. Haven't gone before that, haven't gone after that, don't 100% know what time it closes then. So you have more time in the park as well. So as the fireworks start, as I said, the crowds start to thin. We stay in line. We get to watch the fireworks from the roller coaster, which is a completely different experience. And it's actually pretty cool sometimes if you're at the top of the hill and they have the big fireworks going off. It's hard to time it because, you're at the mercy of the line and the queue, the people in front of you, and if people need assistance getting on and off the ride, or if the ride breaks down, there's a lot of variables. So you don't know when you're going to be at that highest point. But if you are lucky enough to get at that highest point in the ride while the biggest fireworks are going off, it is just an amazing experience. And I'm not really a big fireworks person, but that is pretty cool because, you just boom and then you start going down the hill, and it's really, really cool. So after fireworks, lines pick back up, but not to the same capacity. I think many, especially those with smaller kids, annual pass holders, locals, they tend to head out right around the time that the fireworks go on. And honestly, that is completely fine by me. That's why we did Magic Kingdom in the evening and every other park in the daytime. We could rope drop the other parks. We had the Genie Plus. We took a little bit of a break. Well, not all of us. At least one person went back to take care of the dog, and then everybody else headed over to Magic Kingdom. And it just worked out very, very well for us. And again, once it gets dark and once those fireworks go off, it's a little less crowded at Magic Kingdom. It's still crowded, don't get me wrong. This is Disney. It will always be crowded. But it's nowhere near what it is during the daytimes, especially in the summer. So we rode Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. You go through the queue. As I said, there's the gyms. There's all kinds of stuff. It's a very cute ride, and it's one of the bigger roller coasters in Magic Kingdom. Now with Tron, it's not the biggest, but it is one of the bigger roller coasters. We rode Pirates of the Caribbean, which actually runs under Magic Kingdom. We made our way to the wildest ride in the wilderness, and we got on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, which we've seen fireworks from that as well. And I'll say, having done everything in the daylight, there's a bit of a different feeling to the rides, depending on when you ride them at night. So it's a different experience. And, if you just think, oh, I've ridden this one before, whatever, and you've only ridden it during the daylight hours, go try to ride it at night. They're lit up. It's not just like you're riding around in the dark. There's some sections that are dark, some sections that are lit. They're still very, very interesting rides, and there's a lot to see, and it's not just about the ride. It's about the theme of the ride at Disney World. Best example of this is going to be the Jungle Cruise, or at this time of year, the Jingle Cruise. It does have a holiday overlay to it. We did this 2 days in a row. Now, both skippers use the same script. There's a list of jokes that you can use, and these two just happen to use the exact same list. One was much better than the other. But in the evening hours with the darkness making it hard to see very much past the trees, it gives more of a feeling that you're in not a ride, but an actual jungle excursion. You don't know what's lurking behind those trees. It could be a lion, it could be a gator. At Florida, it actually could be a gator. Apparently, it could be a bear because that happened earlier in 2023. So, of course, be on the lookout though for the amazing, wonderful. Also, underneath Magic Kingdom are the utilidors. Now, these are used by cast members and VIP guests to get around so as not to destroy the illusion created in each land. There's no reason, say, a cowboy should be running through Tomorrowland, for example.
Hello?
And actually, these are not underground tunnels per se. The tunnels were built, then buried with dirt removed from the Seven Seas Lagoon. Then Magic Kingdom was built on top of that. So Magic Kingdom is actually the second story. The tunnels are the first story, and then the ground is below it. So it's not underground tunnels, it's buried tunnels. As the park expands, the utilidors have not. And with talk of adding a new land out past Frontierland, it may someday happen that you'll see Buzz Lightyear hanging out with Captain Jack Sparrow. Who knows? Or maybe they'll build new utilidors before they expand the land to keep that illusion alive. There's a few rides that do go underground. This helps keep the park looking less cluttered. It helps to create the escapism that Disney has managed to do so well for so many years. And I, for one, really appreciate the effort that they have done it in these parks. Another benefit to the week between Christmas and New Year's are the extended hours. As I said, Magic Kingdom's open until midnight. There's parties in Magic Kingdoms. In Tomorrowland and Frontierland, they have DJs, live performances, and dance parties. And I've even seen the cast members getting into these things. Everybody is just having such a good time. I can't say everybody is having a good time, but I will say most of the people are having a great time at this time of year. It's not too hot. It's, yes, crowded, but because it's not so hot, people are not getting as upset. And it just creates a way better atmosphere for me. Summer or winter, Magic Kingdom has quite a few dark rides. So you can get out of the heat for a little while in the summer or out of the cold in the winter. This year, it got down to about the mid-low 40s. So rides like It's a Small World, with each room having exactly one golden sun, and its cast of international dolls that you either love or freak you out, singing the most infamous earworm in the history of earworms. Pirates of the Caribbean, with Captain Hook and Mr. Smee hiding in plain sight. Peter Pan's Flight, Winnie the Pooh, Haunted Mansion, where you're taken through the mansion cemetery, see the newly added Hatbox Ghost. In my opinion, it's in kind of a weird place. By the way, Magic Kingdom doesn't do a holiday overlay on Haunted Mansion. That's only over at Disneyland. We were very disappointed last year to find out that Haunted Mansion didn't have the gingerbread house in the dining room scene. And then we found out that it's only at Disneyland. So I just want to give you guys a heads up on that before you go, hoping for that overlay. Space Mountain, though, does have a holiday overlay. It's got red and green lights, flashing, futuristic holiday music, creating a Christmas overlay. It provides some relief from, and all these rides actually provide some relief from the weather. Regardless if you're trying to get away from heat, cold, or rain, I will say when it's raining, the lines for these rides do get much longer because unlike some of the other rides during those summer rainstorms in particular, where you have lightning and thunder, they might shut down the rest of the rides in the park, but most of the interior rides, most of the dark rides are operating, and the queues are usually covered as well. So a lot of people go into these rides that they normally wouldn't go into because, like, say, Winnie the Pooh is a little kid's ride or something like that. These people that normally wouldn't ride that ride are going on it to escape the weather. Now, of course, you can plan your day using the My Disney Experience app. You can check park hours, show times. You can order food, make reservations at sit-down dining. You can see upcoming trip plans, check photos, buy individual lightning lanes, tickets, Genie Plus, mobile checkout for merch. Yes, it does allow you to skip more than just the long ride lines. You can skip the rides at the retail, and there's much more you can do on this. It is a great planning tool, and it is actually recommended by Disney to use that. The problem with that is because so much of it is done on the app, it's on your phone, you're walking around staring at your phone a lot of times during the day. We try to do it while we're in the ride lines or at dining, unless we're over at Hollywood Studios at 50 Primetime Cafe, where you tend to get in trouble for being on your phone. You're going to use a lot of battery power. Your battery is going to die, so you're going to want to invest in a portable charger. It's a great investment before going to Disney because you will need it. Now, some of the ground transportation, the buses that go to and from the resorts, they have USB ports. I've seen USB ports starting to pop up at some of the restaurants and little charging stations here and there. But I mean, you're only going to be on there for a couple of minutes, so you're not going to get a full charge. So a good thing to invest in before you go to Disney, and I say before for one particular reason, you can get those fuel pods. You can get them at Disney, but you can get a 2-pack on Amazon for the same price, if not less, than what you can get a single fuel rod at Disney World. And these are the exact same fuel rods, so you can still exchange them at those kiosks for fully charged ones if you deplete those batteries, and the exchanging is it's still free. So that's one of the few free things that you'll find at Disney, but it is a good thing to have, and it is something that's a necessity. We do have larger battery packs as well. We had a couple of fuel rods for the kids. And I think those have all been given away to people that we've brought with us to the parks at different times. So we're about to buy a couple more fuel rods from Amazon. That way we just have those as backup. We rode, we walked, and of course we ate. Some of our favorite quick service restaurants are Pinocchio Village House and Columbia Harbor House. Pinocchio's has a section that overlooks Small World and a much overlooked upstairs. People don't know about this. There's a very small outdoor balcony, and it overlooks the carousel. So you can see Mickey's PhilharMagic, the carousel. At Columbia Harbor House, there's also an overlooked upstairs section. Now, the upstairs has the restrooms. Don't worry, they're not in the Frontierland section. You have to walk through most of the restaurant, and it's technically in Fantasyland. So the restrooms are still true to the Frontierland theming. There's several, we'll say, alcoves in the upstairs area. And one section you can see the riverboat. You can see Haunted Mansion from another one. And then I think from another one you can see Fantasyland kind of overlooking, it's weird to say, the Rapunzel bathrooms. And you can see Small World from there as well. For advanced dining reservation restaurants, we tend to choose Liberty Tree Tavern. It's a family style, kind of like a holiday meal, Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever. You get roasted turkey, pork loin, and I think it's either roast beef or ham. I'm not really sure. It changes. It's a lot of food, and it's kind of expensive, and they don't differentiate between people that can't eat as much. So if you're an adult and you can't eat quite as much, you're still paying full price. The next one that we would go to would be the Plaza Restaurant. Now it's a menu, so you can choose individual items based on what you like. Of course, we've tried the famous Dole Whip. It was a bit cold for us this year, so we stayed away from the frozen treats. We tried the cheeseburger egg rolls. Not for me. They say they taste like a Big Mac. It did kind of lean in that direction, but it wasn't quite the same. And for me, it's a one and done. I had maybe a half of one, and I'm good. I don't need it anymore. If you want to see more places that we've eaten in different parks, you can check out my video on the Down the Road Travel channel. Let me know the places that you like to eat, so that way if we haven't tried them, we can try them as well. So of course, there is so much more to know about Disney. And I don't just mean Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Epcot. I mean the resorts and hotels, restaurants, Disney Springs, everything. And so the more you know about Disney, the better your trip is going to be. You can, of course, just wing it. If that's your style, if that's your choice, if that's how you're comfortable, go for it. But if you really want to maximize your time, make use of every minute that you have there, the way to do it is really do a lot of research. Now, as I've said in the past, I am not a Disney vlogger. I'm simply a travel vlogger that likes to go to Disney. And so my opinions are based on my experiences, my family's experiences, what we like. If you really want to get into more of the research side, check out those Disney vloggers. They're there at the parks every day. They have writers, they have researchers, some of them, not all of them. I'm sure some of them are one-man operations, but they are way more in depth. Now, the ones that my wife likes the most are Disney Food Blog, Tim Tracker, Paging Mr. Morrow, Mammoth Club, and All Ears. And they do have quite a bit of great information that can help you out. And it's up to date because they're there every day. Some of those people even used to work at the parks, so they have more of an insider point of view. My videos are to give you a starting point, to give you a regular person's input on your vacations, whether it's Disney, whether it's Berlin, whether it's upcoming things that we have going on or past things that we've done. So now I thank you for watching. Let me know what you think about this. If there's any places that we should try that we haven't tried, in the comments below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to our channels, even let your friends know about the Down the Road Travel channel if you would like to do so. If you like the original music that I've used in the background, you can find that on your favorite streaming platform or right here on YouTube. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you down the road.
Let's hit the road.